Welcome back. Matt Lee joins us once again, and it's that time of year, you know, winter trying to hang on, spring trying to move in, and keep in mind we move our clocks ahead this weekend. So it's a sign of spring, but this time of year, spring maintenance for your homes, very important. Matt Lee is going to talk us through that right now.
Yeah.
It's a good time of year to remember certain important things.
Yeah, we'll forget about the snow outside because this is just a little blip. So we are getting into the spring time, and we're getting into the warmer weather. And there's a few things that it would do with the clocks changing. The first thing is you change the batteries in the smoke detector.
So it's almost like an annual reminder this time of year.
Semi. So you do that
twice.
So you do it now, and then when you change the clocks in the fall then you'll do it the batteries again. It's just a safety precaution to make sure. The other thing to do is actually, if you've had the smoke detectors or the carbon monoxide detectors for a long time, start checking the dates on them, because they're only good. I think they expire after 10 years. So you want to actually flip it over, see how long it's going to be, and then we'll take a look. So this is actually a carbon monoxide detector. Not all are actually wired into the house. You can go and you can buy them for $20, $25 and actually plug them into the side of into an outlet. You just need this to make sure that they're on each floor. New building code has different. Changing the filter, you know, we're getting, even though we're coming into springtime, people are going to kind of switch over to the AC units. You still want to make sure the system is working properly. Change that filter as well this weekend.
Again, that's twice a year.
Yeah, I would actually change even more. You know, you could change it once a month in the winter, and then I would start changing it probably 3 times a year in the summer, or 3 times in the summer. What we want to do is we want to build up around the house, because this ground is saturated. We're going to get a lot of water off the actual roof. You know, we do run into rainstorms. We're getting snow that's coming off the roofs. We're getting all of this, and we want to make sure we keep it away from the house as much as possible. So you've got this ground dirt built up, and then we have what they did was they actually laid a plastic layer, so therefore it kind of keeps it away from the house, and it's all on an angle. And then they just have decorated on top with some rock. So
how was our winter this year? It seemed when we got hit, but
yeah,
we didn't get hit a whole lot. I think it was in the single digits.
It was, you know what, so from my understanding, we had record snow in December, and then, you know, we didn't see a lot after that, but the ground is still saturated, you know, lakes are up, and we are seeing that it is going to affect along the springtime. I would personally go down, take a bucket and dump water into the sump pump hole to make sure that it's working properly. And this is what we're looking at here. And this is with the water coming off the roof and saturating the ground. You got to make sure that you've got these extra extensions on the eaves trough away from the house, so that you don't get this tunnel that comes back and runs right down the wall, because it will create a hole underneath the ground. You won't even see it. But if you were to dig up, you will actually see a tunnel that actually goes all the way down, and this is why people get leaky basements, or whether it's moisture through the brick, because it is a cavity where it can hide. You know, again, winter is really hard on caulking and different pieces. Ice is very strong, so I always go around and check and make sure that your windows are sealed properly and taken care of. Cleaning the eaves trough, you know, every year I would always say, spring and fall, you know, you can actually buy a tool that has kind of a hook on the end of a garden hose, and you can actually spray it out if you don't want to climb up and actually do it. But I think it's a good idea to make sure that the eaves troughs are clean, so that they're working properly and that they're not filling up and pouring over down the side of the house. You want it going down the actual spout and out away from the house as much as possible.
What could happen in the event that it does do that?
Well, you're going to create a divot all the way along the actual edge of the house if you're having water pour over, and then basically it just sits there. And again, if it sits there long enough, it's going to create these tunnels that are going to be underground, and it's basically going to run down the side of the... And because, I mean, block foundations, you know, if you think of it, we go to ICF nowadays where it's actually like a full concrete or poured concrete, but block... if water comes in and sits against it and actually seeps into the block, there's actually cavities inside the block for it to actually sit there. So therefore, if you're like, it's a spot for it to gather, and all of a sudden now it eventually kind of can seep into the house. So you want to make sure that these different ways of keeping the water away from the house, build it up, make sure that it doesn't go close to the house, are done to make sure. You know, you want to make sure that all of these things are taken care of. Again, this weekend, smoke detectors, carbon monoxide detectors, air filters, extinguishers, fire extinguishers in your house, make sure you check the dates on them because they will cake in the bottom if they're too old.
Wow.
So make sure you turn them over and you shake them up and make sure that they're loose. And then if they're too old, throw them out and go buy a new one.
Very important advice. Thank you so much, Matt Lee.
No problem.
Real estate tips brought to you by Matt Lee of Royal LePage.